Imagine a world, still wrapped in the quiet of dawn, suddenly jolted awake, not by an earthquake, but by a tremor of a different kind, a digital shockwave, originating from the very heart of Beijing. By sunrise, every capital, every intelligence agency, and every war room on the planet was reeling. A classified document, leaked from the highest echelons of power, had just shattered the fragile calm of global politics. China's new military plan was exposed, and what it revealed wasn't a strategy for defense. It was a blueprint for domination. This was the kind of plan that nations dream up in secret and deny in the light of day, a vision so bold, so audacious, it sent chills down the spines of Washington's most seasoned officials. The moment the report hit the Pentagon, alarms didn't just ring. They screamed. Screens lit up with decrypted text. Analysts stared in stunned disbelief, and generals exchanged grim looks that all said the same thing. This changes everything. The leak, allegedly originating from within the People's Liberation Army itself, painted a future where China would no longer be content living in America's shadow. Codenamed Operation Blue Dragon, this wasn't just a military upgrade. It was a meticulously crafted blueprint for global supremacy. It was a promise to the Chinese leadership that the 21st century would belong to them, no matter what the cost. The document spoke of new weapons, revolutionary technologies, and a terrifyingly precise strategy. It described an army powered by artificial intelligence, submarines guided by autonomous systems, and missiles so fast they could pierce the sky before radar could even blink. This was the dream of total supremacy, turned into a step-by-step manual for conquest. One section, chillingly titled, "The Pacific Reversal," detailed a coordinated strategy to corner America within its own sphere of influence. The language was cold, almost poetic. The eagle must be grounded where it once soared. Every single phrase felt like a direct challenge to Washington's decades of global dominance. The plan laid out 3 primary goals. First, achieve complete and total control of the South China Sea. Every reef, every island, every single stretch of contested water to be claimed not through diplomacy, but through overwhelming force. The second goal, reunification with Taiwan, described not as a political ambition, but as a historic duty. And the third, the one that sent shockwaves through the intelligence community, the creation of a worldwide network of military bases spanning Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. This would transform China into a global military titan, capable of striking anywhere, anytime. When the news reached Washington, the reaction was explosive. The White House Situation Room, normally a place of calm calculation, erupted into a frenzy of panicked activity. Advisors shouted over each other. Generals debated strategy, and intelligence officials demanded to know how this could have happened. The president listened in heavy silence, his hands clasped, his eyes fixed on the glowing map of the Pacific. For years, the United States had been aware of China's growing ambitions. But this was different. This was proof. Pentagon insiders later described the atmosphere as being electric with dread. One official confessed it was like reading a declaration of war written in slow motion. The document revealed a strategy that was as brilliant as it was terrifying. China wasn't planning to confront America head-on in a conventional war. Instead, the plan was to outlast it, to outthink it, and to outmaneuver it on every conceivable front. The foundation of this strategy was psychological warfare. China would fight not just with missiles and ships, but with information. It outlined relentless cyber attacks, sophisticated disinformation campaigns, and the calculated manipulation of global narratives. These were wars to be fought in silence, through computer screens, and into the minds of millions. The battlefield wasn't just the ocean or the sky, it was truth itself. By midday, America's response was already in motion. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command launched emergency drills with key allies like Japan and Australia. Fighter jets scrambled into the skies over Guam. Warships began repositioning across the vast ocean. But beneath this flurry of activity, a palpable fear was taking hold, a nagging worry that America was already reacting too late. Inside the Pentagon, a frustrated general reportedly slammed his fist on a table. "We warned them," he seethed. "We told them Beijing wasn't just building ships, they were building a new world order." Across the Pacific, in Beijing, The official reaction was predictably cold and dismissive. Chinese state media decried the leak as nothing more than Western propaganda, a fabrication designed to smear their nation. Yet, within the secretive military circles, a heavy silence reigned, the kind of silence that speaks of guilt, wrapped in a blanket of defiant pride. The plan's exposure was an embarrassment, no doubt, but it also served as an unintentional, powerful message to the entire world. China has arrived, and it will not bow. As analysts dug deeper, the leaked document continued to unravel even more disturbing secrets. It described a scenario codenamed the Great Disruption, a strategy where China would simultaneously trigger crises in multiple regions around the globe, deliberately stretching American forces to their breaking point. Coordinated cyber-attacks on critical infrastructure, proxy conflicts funded in the shadows, and economic manipulation. Every move was calculated to exhaust the United States without ever firing a single bullet directly at it. And then, analysts found references to something far darker: Project Thunder Shadow. Details were sparse, but what little information existed pointed to a new class of stealth drones capable of striking strategic targets from near-orbit altitudes. If such a technology was real, it could render all traditional air defense systems completely obsolete. The implications were staggering. Every line of the leaked strategy screamed with ambition. This wasn't just about military power. It was about fundamentally rewriting the global story. In Beijing's eyes, America was an empire past its prime, and China's time had finally come. As night fell on Washington, the mood grew heavier still. The president stood by the window of the Oval Office, gazing out into the darkness. "So it begins," he muttered to himself, understanding that this wasn't just another intelligence leak. This was a glimpse into a terrifying future, one where two titans could no longer share the same sky. In the days that followed, international reactions poured in. Japan announced it was raising its defense budget to record levels. Taiwan went on high alert. European leaders convened emergency sessions, warning that a new global arms race was now all but inevitable. The world was dividing once again, not between East and West, but between fear and the instinct for survival. Through it all, one question echoed in every newsroom, every military base, and every political office. What happens next? Would China dare to act on this plan, now that the world was watching its every move? Or was the leak itself part of a much deeper game, a calculated psychological gambit designed to intimidate America and force it to reveal its own hand? Some analysts began to lean towards the latter, arguing the leak was intentional. Message carefully crafted and accidentally released to test the world's reaction. If that were true, it meant the real plan, the one still hidden deep inside Beijing's Central Military Commission, was even more dangerous. For ordinary citizens in both nations, life went on, but with a new, unsettling undercurrent of anxiety. The news cycle buzzed with words like conflict, mobilization, and containment. On social media, hashtags like #ChinaLeak and #AmericaFurious trended worldwide. People watched nervously as images of jets streaking over the Pacific and diplomats exchanging cold words at the UN filled their screens. Somewhere in Beijing, a high-ranking general reportedly looked at the news reports with a faint, knowing smile. "They've seen our plan," he is said to have remarked. "Now they know how serious we are." And at the same time, somewhere in Washington, an American admiral stared at the very same headlines and whispered, "They've drawn the line. Now we decide if we cross it." As the world inches closer to an uncertain future, the leaked plan remains both a stark warning and a chilling prophecy. The echoes of its words now haunt the corridors of power, a constant reminder that peace is fragile, that ambition is endless, and that one nation's dream of glory can easily become another's living nightmare. China's new military plan wasn't just a strategy. It was a declaration that the balance of power is shifting, that the age of American dominance is being challenged, and that the next great storm in human history may already be forming over the vast expanse of the Pacific. And as that storm gathers, the world can only wait breathless, anxious, and fearful as the titans prepare to test destiny itself. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown insightful, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of the events shaping our world. Stay informed and stay safe.